If you feel like bringing up the Discord, I would love to see it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Wednesday night. Tonight, we're going to be doing the coverage of the WSSR Cup Series Season 10, race number 8 on the docket. Last week, we got to see the newcomer of Seth Knoll get himself in victory lane as it's only second race at Kansas. Tonight, though, a little bit of a tougher task. We're going to be testing our skills at Phoenix as tonight's race is the Sundance Pizza 160 this evening. It's going to be a fun one, I think, overall to watch. This track so difficult, especially with the way that the next-gen race is. Overall, it's going to be a test of skill. It's a test of survival. And how many cautions might we have here tonight? You're seeing it on screen. We're coming to the end of practice, and drivers are trying to find a handling on this track. It's going to be loose conditions, and drivers are going to be having to figure out how to keep this next-gen Cup car underneath you. Once again, thank you for joining with us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me later on, going to be Robert Moyer Jr. on comms, as he will also be running production. So a little bit of double duty for Robert here tonight. But like I said, this is our 8th race of the season here at Phoenix, in a track that we've seen some drivers have success before, but in the most recent of races, we've had lots of cautions blossoming up with over 10 cautions or more here at Phoenix. So this is a track where drivers know it's gonna be a lot of survival, but can you survive this unique course? As tonight's race going to be having around 31 drivers expected to be racing here this evening. And you're looking at the hot streak of drivers to watch out for here tonight. Gavin Rogers, as he's coming into tonight, he's going to be one of those drivers to watch out for. I think Vincent Sora, past winner of this race, a two-time winner of Phoenix in the past, winner of season 4 and 5. And season 5, the last time they ran at this track with this car. We'll see if Vincent Sora can continue with his speed as he's trying to still make that recovery run. Points are looking close. We'll take a closer look at that after qualifying as the drivers are finishing up practice. Currently, your fastest drivers in practice is John Forbes Jr. in the 11 machine with a 26.0 time for himself. A little bit of wall riding, I think, that helped him get that quick pace. And you're seeing drivers trying to match that time if possible. Joshua Kanata, second fastest, but Gavin Rogers with a true speed of a 27.1. I think Rogers, Sora going to be the top drivers of note to watch out for, but who could keep up with them? Will we see Seth Knoll come back and try to go back-to-back after his win last week at Kansas? A lot of questions are around, but we're about to be getting our first answer of who's going to grab the pole, as after the timer finishes up, we'll be sending ourselves into qualifying, where drivers have 5 minutes to put down their fastest time and only 2 laps to do so. You hit the wall. If you hit the wall, spin out. That is going to invalidate your lap time, so all drivers know you've got to be quick, but stay away from the inside and outside wall as the time finishes up. Joshua Kanata with the wall riding finds the quick speed explosion by the 16 there, as he finds himself with a quick time. Again, wall riding, that's not going to be the way that you're going to want to find the true speed here for qualifying. You're going to want to stay on track, stay out of the wall, and we'll see how these drivers set up for this evening. Again, around 30 plus drivers going to be racing here tonight, as we are officially into the second half of the season. We only have a handful of races left before this regular season is over, and we head into the playoffs, where we have tonight at Phoenix, Darlington next week, then Road America, the Milwaukee Mile, and then we run the 2008 Daytona for the drivers to finish out the regular season. That super speedway race going to be impactful of who's going to be making it into the playoffs. Again, I'm going to note on the points are very close, and we'll see who can really solidify themselves. Vincent Sora's been having a very good last couple of weeks. That's helped him get into a position to not have to be as much as a worry on points. He still wants to have continued good runs, and we'll see if the driver that's gotten the win here twice, as well as gotten the pole here twice, hopes to get back into victory lane, and starting up front is a great way to do so. Driver that's gotten the pole has won this race 3 out of the 5 times he's ran here in the past. We'll see if the driver that gets the pole is going to be up front able to do so, as we'll bring in our second commentator as well as producer here this evening with me. Robert, thank you for coming in. I know Richard Wolf's our usual co-host. He's dealing with some computer issues. We hope those get fixed so he's able to be back on the broadcast with us as usual. But Robert, it's great to have you back. I know our last time we were on was back in 2024, but we're here at Phoenix, a track that we're expecting is going to be tough, but I will be impressed if we're able to get ourselves into a long green flag run.
Oh, well, thank you, Sam. I much appreciate you letting me come up here, of course, to join you. But yeah, it's been a long time. It seems forever. In 2024 is the last time we called a race. But yeah, like you said here, we're at Phoenix Phoenix Raceway. Let me say it right here. As Vincent Sora right now is going to put himself up on the pole right now. That's a good lap. But like you were saying, we'll have to see if these guys see what they can come up with here, as got to keep the car underneath them, and we'll see how this all plays out.
Trying to find that very quick time. Seth Knoll, actually see on screen, he got his lap times invalidated. He will have to start in the back of the field, as his times will not count, as he's already finished up his 2 eligible laps, and neither of them were invalidated. So we'll see how this 57 is going to work his way through the field. Going to be a quick drive to watch out for. Vincent Sora, James Scioli, your top 2 currently. Another couple of drivers to watch out for here for qualifying. The hot, fast driver for qualifying last season, Gavin Rogers, of course, going to be the main driver of note to watch out for. But could we find ourselves with the streak ending here tonight, as we've had the streak of having a different pole sitter for every race so far? This is race number 8. We had Larry England grab the pole back in race number 1. Zach Hall got the second race. Chad Wilkes got pole. James Scioli, Tom Sinchek, Gavin Rogers, and Seth Knoll have been our 7 drivers with the pole. If Vincent Sora holds on, that will become our 8th different driver with the pole position this season out of 8 races. But Sora's going to need to hope that these drivers don't pick up on the pace. And it looks like for John Forbes Jr., a little bit of mistakes happening on his end for lap number 2. So he's now scratched off the docket of getting that fastest time. Next closest driver of note to watch out for could be Drew Jua, but he's going to fall a little bit shy, only up to 10th place. Thought maybe we were going to be seeing the 75. Gavin Rogers had the fast time to watch out for. He's currently on his last lap. I think the last driver who really has a good opportunity as he crosses the line. Same for Tyler Dangler, and it will be Gavin Rogers with the pole time, as he will beat out Vincent Sora by 1/100th of a second. And this could be the end of the streak. Gavin Rogers ended the streak of having drivers with 2 wins this season. Looks like he wants to be the driver with 2 poles, as Zach Hall crosses the line, the number 1 machine, starting his 2nd lap for himself, as Zach Hall, the last driver to win at this track. And I know we were having issues running able to document that win for himself, but only led 14 laps that race. Really came down to survival at the end. That was 2 seasons ago, and Zach Hall trying to stay down low, looking for the pole time if possible. They really took that first lap slower, hoped for the big pickup here for lap number 2, and across the line, not big enough for the pole. Outside the top 15, it's 16th for Zach Hall. And Robert, with that, qualifying looks like it's done. It's Gavin Rogers ending the streak and grabbing his 2nd pole of the season.
Oh, that guy's ending every streak. That's we're gonna have to have a talk with this guy here, but congratulations to him. It looks like he's gonna set it here on pole here tonight with Vincent Sora second. John Forbes is gonna be third as we get ready to roll into qualifying here tonight with the WSSR here at Phoenix Raceway. And we're gonna bring up here very shortly. We're gonna bring up our standings here, Sam, and our schedule that we just got done. Some of the tracks we've done racing, and you noted on a couple of them that we will be coming here in the future here at WSSR. But let's first look at the standings here, and you can see right now Gavin Rogers is gonna have the points lead on 2 wins. He is up by 20 here on John Ford Jr. You got Nick Crawford in third, Brian Kelly, Danny Cochran there in fifth. You got Larry. You got Ken Campbell in seventh, having a good run. Zach Hall, last year's defending champion, going to be in eighth. Or Drew in ninth, and Scioli there, kind of shockingly, is way down here in 10th position. And look at the big jump there, Sam. We got Vincent Sora now in 11th place.
Yeah, Vincent Sora, who started off the season with 3 disastrously bad starts, finishing practically last for those first 3 races. Now here, entering the last 3 races that we've ran, he's really had to pick up and has shown the Vincent Sora of old. Like you said, up to 11th. Another big picture to watch out for, that cutoff line you see on the right column. You see it's Jared Talmadge, top of that board. He's got only a 1-point advantage over Joshua Kanata and Cedric Hunter. Also, Chad Wilkes, Chris Stintz, they're within striking distance. It is honestly a dogfight from 16th down to 23rd on who's got a chance on points. But that could be null and void because Cody Reed down 28th in points. If he can somehow string along a good finish to this regular season, he's got that win from Atlanta to start the season off. If he's inside the top 25 in points, that automatically gives him a berth into the playoffs, and that would take that 16th position. So all drivers know you might not be fighting for 16th, it might be 15th place in points that you're truly aiming for. But we'll switch over from the point standings and take a closer look at how this schedule has looked. Already kind of give you that picture of what we have left on the regular season.
As it's broke.
I guess we won't have those information for you.
It's broke, ladies and gentlemen.
This season, we've had ourselves, like I said, Cody Reed winning at Atlanta. Pocono went to Drew Jua. Gavin Rogers got his first win at Auto Club. Then we went to the 08 Atlanta, where John Forbes Jr. got his first win of the season. James Scioli finally got into the win column at Nashville Super Speedway. And the last 2 races, Gavin Rogers breaking the streak of having 5 different winners. That he stopped that at 6 races. And then Seth Knoll, his second race of the season that he ran, gets a win last week at Kansas. We'll see if he can get it done here tonight and go for back-to-back and become our second 2-time winner. But he's got a long track again. Didn't get the qualifying position he wanted. He's got a lot of work to move forward. But for tonight's race, we also want to say thank you to our amazing sponsors that help out for the WSSR this season. For season 10, we got 2 big ones. First and foremost, want to say thank you to GTR Simulators. Head on over to GTR Simulators today and check out their wide variety of different simulator rigs that you can be a part of. Grabbing one of their main featured ones that they just partnered up with over this last year was with the Stake F1 Team Kick-Salber team, as they were able to come together and make the GTA Compact V2 Stake F1 Team Kick-Salber foldable racing simulator that you can personally go find today by heading over again to gtrsimulators.com. And when purchasing, remember to use the promo code WSSR for 10% off. Again, that's gtrsimulators.com for experience pro-level racing from home. Go check out that GTA Compact V2 Stake Team Kick-Salber setup today. Also, if you're looking for championship trophies, rings, belts, or more, head on over to Trophy Smack. I know fantasy football just came to an end. Maybe you're looking for that trophy for someone in that. Maybe you're looking for someone who is the biggest loser. Or if you're into sim racing and you need to find a championship trophy or belt that just fits the design for your own racing league, again, to head over to Trophy Smack. They've got pre-made championship trophies, belts, rings, and more, or you can customize it to your own liking. by heading over to TrophySmack.com and using the promo code going to be WSSR Smack. You can get yourself 10% off. Remember to go over to TrophySmack.com. Let them know that you came over from WSSR Cup Series. They love to hear from you. Well, Robert, with that warm-up is coming to a close, we're about to be heading into taking a look at our starting grid. Tonight's race, 160 laps in total, with stage break at the end of lap 40, 0 fast repairs, 4 extra sets of tires in pit road for this evening. So we'll see when drivers really want to use those tires. And again, if we're looking at the past, it's been a lot of talking on how many cautions will we have and can you survive? As we take a look at our starting grid, ending the trend as we were only able to go 7 races with 7 different pole sitters. He grabs his second pole of the season. It's the fast man, then the 75, Gavin Rogers, able to take that pole award. To his outside, it's the driver that's gotten the pole here twice in the past, as well as gotten 2 wins here at Phoenix. It's going to be the 51 of Vincent Sora. Behind them, going to be the main drivers of note. Can they make a swing on the championship hopes of the regular season? It's John Forbes Jr. and James Scioli back in 5th place. A great qualifying run. It's the 15 of Ken Campbell, the Shane Carrion in the 9 in 6th. 7th, we find Ali Fonseca in the 13 of Cedric Hunter in 8th. 9th, we find Tom Sinjak and Larry Yingling. Outside of the top 10, it's the 74 of Nick Crawford in 11th. Jared Talmadge will be in 12th for the 27, with Drew Jua in 13th. We find the 3 of Ryan Kelly in 14th position, with Ross Tatum in 15th. Ross coming off one of his best finishes in the WSSR in a while. He wants to continue on with that momentum. Speaking about momentum, our previous champion of last season, Zach Hall, needs to find it, and he could be here at Phoenix, as that one machine will start in 16th place. 17th, well, there's the 17 machine. It's Chris Stitz. He's hoping to rebound after last week's race, with Samuel Garcia behind him in 18th place. And Andrew Medlin in the 12 will be back in 19th, 20th. Going to the 19 machine of Tyler Dangler. And 21st, we find the 2 of Danny Cochran, who's been having one of his better WSSR seasons in his career. He will be starting a little bit deeper in the field than his liking in 21st. Chad Wilkes, who's a part of that possible championship berth and making the playoffs. He's back deep in the points, but he's deep in the field as well, starting in 22nd position. Joshua Canada will be down in 23rd place, with Justin Malarkey 24th. Brian Noel will be back in that 00 in 25th, with GT Rozzari in 26th position. Also going to be seeing Christopher Wade in 27th, Brian McCann 28th, 29th Cody Reed, Seth Knoll going to be down in 57 and 30th, and Christopher Norris going to be finishing out our 31 drivers here tonight. Woo, Robert, a lot of drivers out there on track. They gotta hope that they can survive, though, with these first 40 laps to see what these stage points will give out.
That is it. Yep. Go ahead and take a little break there, Sam, as we're going to get ready to go green here. The pace car is going to duck in. Yes, this is going to backstretch. Pace car does go in turn 1 and 2 there, and they got to go down the backstretch into 3 and 4 to get the green flag. Now, we're going to see how this all plays out, as we're going to be side by side, and they're going to get ready to rumble down the front stretch here, Sam, as we're going to get ready to go green here at Phoenix Raceway here with the WSSR Cup Series. Season 10 is underway.
Season 10, Race 8. It's your Sundance Pizza 160 is Gavin Rogers and Vincent Sora will be side by side down into turn number 1. It's the 75 with a better launch for himself. As behind, now going to be side by side for second. It's Sora, John Forbes, and the rest of the field trying to keep these cold tires underneath them. Exit of 2 can be tricky, but they all are able to be stable. What's fun about this track? It's the open dogleg on the front stretch, as all the drivers go slamming down onto the apron. Some will go all the way down that inside pit, while others will just grazily go below the yellow line, while others will stay on the racing surface. That's the fun, unique portion of Phoenix. And you've got the corners of 1 and 2 where the drivers are trying to carry as much speed as possible. The more hard braking zone is here into 3, where drivers look for passing zones if possible. But it's the exit out of here of 4, where drivers can get a little bit tricky, sometimes push high into that outside blue wall. Others will snap loose, but for currently it's Vincent Sora,
Oh,
faster car, but they're having issues behind. Driver goes around, it's Samuel Garcia and multiple other drivers. Zach Hall's involved as well, and more drivers are still piling in. But our first caution of the day, lap 3, when we were getting up to full song. And Robert, just like that, first caution is out, and it looks to be around the 50 machine. We saw that caution blossom out.
it looks like right around the 50 as we go back here on the replay. We'll see them going down into here, and I'm going to get these turns confused. But as they go down into turn 4 here, also start finish line looks pretty good right now as he's going to get ready. Oh, I'm not. Wow, that was a weird. The car reacted really strange there, Sam.
It just snapped loose. Felt like the car was getting light through the dog leg, and Garcia got his hands working pretty in the cockpit here. This is a good camera to see how this wheel reacts. Saw that he was thinking about the dog leg, but tapped the apron just slightly, snapped loose, overcorrected. And the 50 machine goes around, and multiple drivers piling in. Even after the fact, a couple of drivers got into contact. That was going to be Brian Noel and Tyler Dangler. Got a little bit of contact, even getting by the incident. Kind of shocker to see the fact that this wreck just continued to break out. But so many drivers were looking for chances to get through this wreck. But first caution of the day on lap 3. Some drivers have to come into pit road to get damage repaired. Ultimately, there's only a few that got required damage, and that's going to be Chad Wilkes in the 6, who took the brunt of it. Major required damage. We'll see once he's able to get back out on track, as the 6 just got into pit road. But early showing him, and Robert, right on the top of the broadcast, I noted on this track is tough. It's going to be difficult. It's shown in the past this is the track that's going to bring out a lot of cautions. But who can survive already? Our past winner, last time the winner here of Zach Hall, involved in this one, and plenty of others that were hoping for the climb through traffic, not going to be able to make so.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much damage Zach Hall got. It looked like he got spun around there. Probably not too much damage. Just hopefully he can get that, all fixed up there. But yeah, like you said here, tough track, Phoenix. Man, what can we say about it? You got to be careful going across that start-finish line when you want to go down in the dog leg. Yeah, it's the fastest way around. We all know that. But as you can see right here, you go down in that dog leg there, and you cut the course, getting down there, and then all of a sudden the car sometimes just gets a mind of its own and spins out, and you just wind up going through the dog leg sideways. Or if you come back up on the track, sometimes there might be a car on the outside and you're not sure they're there, or it's all of a sudden the spotter says car outside, things like that. But that's what they're going to be dealing with here all night tonight, Sam, here, as we're also going to be seeing this track probably get a little bit more grip too, as we are in late evening here and getting ready to soon go into nighttime. So this race will end under the nighttime here.
Yeah, it will end as the lights are already clicked on, completely in darkness. As Gavin Rogers taking back that green flag position up front, we are back to green flag action for your Sundance Pizza 160. It's some sort of defense clean of a launch he was hoping for that 51. He'll lose the position to John Forbes Jr. as the 11 able to take off and go. But behind, you can see the swampness. Already 3 wide action for drivers outside of the top 10. That's a battle for 10th, actually. As Larry Inkling, Jared Tallman, Drew Kelly go 3 wide. Here's Shane Terrian in the 9 machine, trying to get by the 15 to Ken Campbell, but 3 wide. You gotta trust the drivers around you are willing to give space, and especially at the dog leg, drivers have to be careful, and can't assume someone's going to go below the apron. They can't stay on track, so you have to be willing to give extra space when you know someone's below you.
Correct, yeah, given that space there, as we are watching right now here of Jared Tominger and SpongeBob number 27 vehicle. I actually like that paint scheme. It's pretty cool, as they brought the SpongeBob's back out here for tonight's event here that they did last week here, as we see him ducked down in front of Ryan Kelly in that number 3 machine, trying to keep up here with Ollie Fonseca and Cedric Hunter here, as they are battling it pretty good right now here side by side for 8th and 9th and 10th position here. But we're going to fall back here to Tom Simchek He's back here trying to run on the outside here as we've got a vehicle looking down underneath him, and I believe that would be Drew of the 88 there, Sam.
Yeah, Drew Jua on the charge going forward for the 88. Also, you have Cody Reed, but Drew hounding on the back bumper of the 26. You see the black and white and red machines going back and forth between one another. Also going to be seen behind us to hop on board with last week's winner in the 57 of Seth Nolan. Seth working his way forward, gets started all the way back in 20 and back in 30th position. Cody Reed in front of him in the Hot Wheels machine, starting back in 29. They both have been moving forward together as a clustered group as the two of Danny Cochran and that Larry Arts production machine trying to make his way forward. The two also up from where he qualified. So drivers taking advantage of that early caution and chances to make big moves on these restarts, and they've really worked out correctly. As Drew Jua, you see there, you can go as low as you want, and the 88 took that opportunity, didn't work out on a pass, but he'll just settle behind and watch Thompson checking Cody Reed as the 25, and Cody Reed is the one on the move. He continues to surge forward.
As 25 surging forward, I just wanted to ride along with Seth here as you were speaking here. He's looking nice and easy, 4 seconds behind, running 18. But listen, you can hear the car bottom out there, and that is very crucial going through that dog leg. If you hit too hard, you can really upset the vehicle, and that's where you get yourself in trouble here. As we pan out now here from Seth here. And we'll move right up to where it is. Cody Reed, the 25 here, said he's on the move up to 14th position, 3.7 seconds behind in that number 25 Hot Wheels machine. Looking pretty good right now, but, my question is how much can he keep going like this, Sam? You got to save tires here, too. If we do get into this long green flag run, which is starting to look like the race is starting to settle, that way that we might have a long green flag run.
Yeah, it's kind of a wait and see. Phoenix is one of those odd tracks where the chance of it going to a long run is there. And if we do, this race could really stay clean and green for a while. The only problem is we are racing in stage 1. There's 2 stages. We have stage 1 at the end of lap 40. Stage 2 is racing to the end of the race. And at the end of stage 4, at the end of lap 40, we will then see a caution flag be thrown in. Some of these drivers already trying to just get into better positions than where they were at the start of the race at the time of that yellow that can just set them up for a better run. I think that's why we're seeing the likes of Cody Reed, Drew Jua, Danny Cochran make these big pushes forward to get all the passes done early on and then just salvage as much as you can once the tires fall off as we get closer to the end of lap 40. Here's Zach Hall, Tyler Dangler, both involved in that lap 3 caution number 1 incident, trying just to putter around. Andrew Medlin also dealing with damage for himself as he runs back in 12th position. I mean, at the 12 machine back in 29th position, and currently just trying to stay on the lead lap. That's the only thing you can look for if you're Medlin at this moment. That,
and he's got to get that thing fixed. Stay on the lead lap is the number 1 thing here, but if you look at that left front, it is bowed out really hard. That left front tire is not where it needs to be.
Not at all. It really does need to get into pit road. Hope that the team can fix that up. But it's difficult with how long pit road is to get in your box, get the repairs done, and get out. So for Medlin, he's hoping, again, stay on the lead lap before the stage is over. Or if you do go 1 lap down, hope that no one else follows and going a lap down as well. Here's now the battle on screen going on for 10th place. It's Ali Fonseca currently side by side trying to hold 10th over Ryan Kelly, Nick Crawford. As Ali Fonseca, I got to give kudos. Great qualifying time, 7th in qualifying here tonight. Just trying to stay in the top 10 to get bonus points if possible, but there are a lot of fast drivers that we know can make their way forward as putting pressure on this 24.
Yeah, putting pressure on 24, but I jump back here to Drew. I was interested on his line that he was running in 3 and 4 here, or 1 and 2 actually. See, I got the track backwards. I knew that was going to happen. But let's see if he does it here. Nope, he's going to stay above that yellow line, but every once in a while, he'll take that car and go right underneath that yellow line and start passing cars underneath there, and that's a pretty interesting line to run. If you can do it, great, but man, I don't know if you can do it lap after lap though.
Lap after lap might be difficult, but if you're willing to take a chance, as it's going to be 3 wide down into turn number 1. Cody Reed on the outside for 25.88. Drew Jewell with Ryan Kelly on the inside. Kelly trying to back off in the center to maybe get a better launch off the exit of the corner, but just doesn't have the spacing to do so. 3 will fall back. The 2, Danny Cochran, will slide down to the inside, and it's Drew Jewell who's looking clean for the 88, getting by Cody Reed. And for Cody Reed, he got by Drew Jewell just about 5 laps ago, but we're talking about tires. How long could you stay in front? Well, we're halfway through the stage. Cody Reed, all that time that he had gotten advantages for, I think he might be in a worrisome spot, and he sees more drivers making a pass as easy as we just saw this 88 make it look.
Well, that's it. Save the tires, and you can start making the passes. And you can see right now with Cody Reed and Drew Jewell, they're going to be battling side by side. But again, how much tire does Cody Reed have left on that vehicle? It's still looking good. We'll have to see how that all plays out. And right there's what I was saying there, Sam. Drew Jewell went down underneath the yellow line, actually not exiting, entering, which is really interesting line to run. Never seen that. As we got Danny Cochran now going to look underneath here, as Cody Reed's going to try the low line. Nope, gets loose. Oh, Danny Cochran gets loose. As we got Seth back there trying to make the pass here, coming up through the field.
Seth Knoll saw the mistake by the 2, immediately ducked down through the dog leg, and that gave enough cutting of the distance on this track for the 57 to make the pass on the 2 machine. Great decision immediately, and it works out for him to make those big moves as drivers up front kind of spaced out pretty evenly between one another. It's still Gavin Rogers leading this race, as some of the closest action up front, the battling for 5th place, is where these drivers on screen are. You've got Ken Campbell, Shane Terrian, as well as seeing Jared Talmadge on top of one another. And Campbell and Terrian both going back and forth. Our top 6 still run where they qualified. No changes yet, but there was a little bit of swappage between the likes of seeing, John Forrest made a pass early on the restart on Vincent Sora. Sora took that spot back. Shane Terrian almost completed the pass on Ken Campbell. He's now settling in 6th, but these drivers know Jared Talmadge behind. They want to take off and go. The more that they fight back and forth, the better chance that we might see some of those drivers further on back finally make the surge forward, like a Drew Jewell, like the likes of Seth Knoll. They want to make these passes, but into the long run, it's a little bit harder to make some of these passes being made just because of the tire wear.
Yeah, just tire wear, like you're saying there, Sam. But, the other big thing key about this is that you're saying these cars get side by side. They basically put a parachute on each other, and they do slow each other down, and that helps bring back the field. The guys in the back there to run single file, all of a sudden, you're battling for a position, and then you look in the rearview mirror and say, wait, oh crap, there's like 5 other cars right here with me, as we see Ken Campbell still holding off Shane Terrian. As we go back here, we're going to check out Ryan Kelly back here in 13th position right now. He's still battling with Cody Reed, and this is where all the battling is. These guys have given up, as Nick Crawford is going to move his way around Cody Reed and Ryan Kelly here, up here in the 13th position here, and Nick Crawford's going to put himself right outside the top 10 here, as we'll see how this all battles out right now. But we also got a battle going back here with Ross Tatum. It looks like, and Ross got loose coming out of the floor there, and Justin Malarkey almost ran right into the back of the wheel, man.
Malarkey making evasive maneuvers to get by the 21 and looked a little bit out of shape, like I said, out of 4, as he was trying to get back to the throttle. And that's going to be the tough spot as this run progresses on. It's the exit of these corners. Drivers are going to feel the rear end want to kick out more and more, and you have to be more and more gentle on when you accelerate, how much pressure you're willing to put down as you hop on board with the 8 machine of Brian McCann. McCann runs back in 24th position, and get a sense of what it's like for some of these drivers further on back. Kind of interesting thing for the 8 that you're seeing is shifting a little bit later than some of our front runners. Yep. Usually the drivers are wanting to shift down earlier into turn 1 to make sure they get a good exit out of turn 2. and looking, it also helps try to just center the nose a little bit better. Some drivers early in the run will also shift down to third to find an extra speed out of turn 4, but currently right now, the shifting zones looking like it's more of help the acceleration out of the corner for the 8 instead of helping center that nose on the entry of the corner for turn 1.
As we go up here now, let's go with Cody Reed here. We've seen him moving up and down, up and down. Oh, he's getting loose, and Seth almost ran right into the back of him as we hop aboard of Cody Reed here right now. He's running in 4th gear right now. He's got Ryan Kelly on the outside here battling him as Nick Crawford's in the front, and you can see them tires are gone already. You can see him turning the wheel. The front end is just sliding, Sam, as he goes down the backstretch here to go in the 3 and 4.
But still willing to fight, not just giving up these positions. He might be surrounded, but this is some great racing by the 25. When we hopped on board, like you said, we saw this thing look out of shape, and it might have lost a few positions, but the fight and the willingness to still stay in this fight, to hold your position, and seeing opportunities, even with these tires not feeling as comfortable. You've got yourself about to be coming up to 7 laps to go on the stage. You have to take these opportunities if you want to be inside of the top 10, as here's a battle inside of our top 5, battling between John Force Jr. and James Scioli for 3rd place. You got Lucky Ducks trying to find a way to get by the 11 machine. And these points, crucial to try to go after Gavin Rogers, but Rogers with stage bonus points here, I mean, that just solidifies his championship, regular season championship, even more with these final 4 races after tonight.
That it does. I mean, that's all he needs to do. He's leading over Vincent Sora, and as we're watching the battle here for 3rd and 4th position here. But yeah, like you said, Galvin Rogers, that's just more points to help him solidify himself to become the, the season, series, not the champion, but the regular points champion, before they head into the playoffs. Is a goal here too here at WSSR here. Drivers are they want that bragging rights too going into the playoffs, and not only that, going into the playoffs, Sam, it helps them also with points, wins, bonus points, so but that's a little far down the road here, as he's holding his ground right now here as we see James now solidify that 3rd position as we'll run up here to Galvin Rogers. And I do apologize, my dog's barking, but yeah, as we see Galvin Rogers here in the Next Level Motorsports here running in 1st position and looking pretty good, holding it over Vincent Sora, which again, it's nice to see Vincent Sora have this bounce back season now after a terrible start. He was the talking point of the league. Didn't have any luck. Discord would blow up every week. He would say something. Oh, as Rogers got into the wall there, Sam. But what I was saying is Vincent Sora, finally that switch is turned, and he's starting to solidify them spots and getting his top 10s and top 5s.
Yeah, and I know for Vincent Sora, he's getting tired of 2nd place finishes. It is not now no longer just one league and one series where he's finishing in 2nd. It feels like it's across the board. And currently runs 2nd is the 51, trying to run down Gavin Rogers with 2 laps to go in the stage. If you want these extra bonus points, you gotta make the pass now, as within now 4/10 each lap. It just seems like Sora looking faster and faster, but as Sora gets faster, the rest of the field, there's about 5-6 drivers in the past 3 laps that have looked out of control off the exit of the corners. I saw Nick Crawford have a wicked save through the dogleg. Multiple other drivers also have been having some big slides. There's Seth Knoll, who's taking it wide. He's starting to lose the brakes just slightly. But with the stage coming to an end, it's Gavin Rogers who looked strong to keep the points as Vincent Sora was gaining, but the last lap lost all that time that he did gain on the 75. Gavin Rogers off the exit turn 4 will be your Sundance Pizza 160 stage winner. That's the battle for 10th place. Ollie Fonseca wanting to hold steady as Seth Knoll gives a slight tap, exit the corner. They cross the line. There's the yellow, and it's Ollie Fonseca holding steady for that 10th place position. 1 bonus point for the 24, and Ollie will take that. That's good points to have for himself. I know the hunt for making it into the playoffs a little bit tougher for the 24, but he's I would imagine happy with at least grabbing a point and holding back the top some of the tougher competition with that run.
Well, most definitely. I mean, stage points are stage points. Don't matter if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever it is. Stage points are stage points, and they as long as you can put it together, and finish, that's one position. So that you can finish in 10th, and it's actually ninth because you earn that extra point if that guy behind you, you know, didn't get an extra point by leading the lap, and so on and so on. As we're watching right now, Galvin Rogers and everybody come down pit road, checking out that nice looking Sundance Pizza 75 machine, the proud sponsor, like you said here, Sam, of tonight's race.
Yeah, tonight's sponsor of the race, Sundance Pizza 160 here tonight. And as the drivers head into pit road and go about to get service done, we actually will step away and take our first commercial break of the evening. Your stage winner, Gavin Rogers, hits pit road, gonna get service done. And honestly, tonight, drivers showing. We had that one caution on lap 3. They kept it green from there. Will we keep it calm when we return? It's going to be a lot more racing action here at Phoenix as you're currently watching the WSSR Cup Series. Gavin Rogers keeps the top spot as race number 8 of the season. It's your Sundance Pizza 160 here at Phoenix. We will be back with more racing action, and if we aren't back for the restart, don't you worry, we'll be side by side so you don't miss a thing. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Cup Series, and you saw it there, back to caution, and it was Jared Talmadge in the 27 trying to stay ahead of the 88 of Drew Jua. Slight contact made by the 88 into the rear quarter panel of Talmadge, spinning him around and put us right back into a commercial break. And here's the incident, right back into the restart. Drivers side by side trying to get the positions that they can. And Talmadge trying to stay on the outside, but a little bit too much speed by the 88. Clips the 27, goes around, And closing in is the Hello Kitty machine, who tries to stay on the outside,
Ooh.
and I believe he scrapes the outside wall. It was close between Hunter and Talmadge, but kind of shocking to see by Drew Jewett. You don't see that very often. The 88, known for being quick and getting through the field pretty cleanly. Not a slip up there, but for Jared Talmadge, a great start. He was up in the top 10. Now he's got the long trek of making it through the field, where it looked like a hornet's nest on that restart. Well, a couple of drivers almost spun around before that caution came out. And I gotta say, Robert, this is going to be a tough race for drivers that get sent to the back. This is the trouble of Phoenix, is when you get some of those faster drivers dropping to the back, how do they work through the field in a clean fashion when there is just a wall in front of you and nowhere to go?
That's it, Sam. You know, you got a wall in front of you, so just patience. Guys are gonna have to have some patience, and you got a faster vehicle, and some cars are running. Let them maybe pave the way, and you follow them, or just be patient and let things settle out. Because I mean, you are faster, but we all know with this next gen car, sometimes you gotta go for it. You gotta get what you can.
You certainly do, and everyone knows these restarts are your best ways to go. Pace car heading into pit road. We're about to go green for the field. Currently up front, it's Gavin Rogers, Vincent Sora, John Forbes Jr., James Scioli, and Shane Tarian, as well as Ken Campbell, your top six. I want to say thank you to those that are watching with us here tonight on your Wednesday evening with the WSSR Cup Series, as the field gets ready to go back to green flag action for your Sundance Pizza 160 here at Phoenix. We're back to green, and it's Gavin Rogers up front looking for the good run for himself, trying to pull away as quickly as possible as Vincent Sora, John Forbes, they continue to go back and forth. Biggest winner, though, from the stage caution and having pit road stop, Shane Tarian up to fourth, and he's trying to stay in front of James Scioli the best that he can, but the rest of the field side by side. And as they roar through, Robert, this is looking a lot cleaner than that last restart. I see that early caution, and I might have just jinxed us. There goes GT Rosari. Oh, huge wreck. Danny Cochran, the one who gets piled around. And the commentator's curse does exist. It does, and it's shown right there.
That it does, as it looked like Danny Cochran involved into this one here, and we back on the replay. Oh, we gotta go back a little farther. Go back in the replay here, Sam, to see exactly what happened to Danny here. I don't know if he got loose or if somebody, helped him come around.
I got a little bit of help, and it's gonna be by the 25 of Cody Reed. It's kind of similar to the last caution, just a driver on the inside trying to stay low, clips into the two of Danny Cochran, but there's a lot more traffic piling in. You're gonna see Nick Crawford, GT Rosari, but it's these late contacts of seeing Christopher Wade, also Ross Tatum. The bigger contacts as everyone else trying to come to a halt. Andrew Medlin saying hello with the 12 machine coming to a complete stop before everyone starts rolling, but small little dings here and there. Looked a lot more aggressive in the current of watching, as Joseph Malarkey has a black flag that he's going to have to serve. Rest of the field looking at that there isn't any required damage from those incidents.
Yeah, some of them, from what it looks like, it does look like you said, Justin Malarkey there did get a black flag, and he did get that black flag cleared, as we are under, let's see here, what yellows do we have now? Race report here. Right now we're at 4 caution, Sam's, 11 laps right now of caution laps, so 4 yellows, not too bad. 1 actually for the stage, so on track incidents of yellows be 3 right now for Phoenix with 1 laps completed. Not too bad.
No, I mean that's not bad at all. That we've seen in the past, it's kind of been a lot worse than that. As the field, I think everyone kind of knew there was like a range you were looking for, anywhere from 16 to 7 was kind of the range we were going to be seeing here tonight. But it seems like right now it's a lot of aggressive passes going forward. Just knowing that early in the run is your best chance to get a lot of these passes made, but we'll see if these drivers are willing to be patient on this restart, or are we going to see the same that we've seen for the last 2, where it's go for the dive bomb move. And what the issue is, the reason why these cautions could be blossoming and ballooning into more and more wrecks. These tires, each time that we go through these green flag, quick caution, green flag, quick caution, the tires get colder, and it will cause these drivers to be slipping just slightly more until they build the heat back up, where they've got that maximum grip on track. So we'll see how this restart's going to be given to the field and to us, as we are about to be back to green flag action. Gavin Rogers taking off in that Sundance Pizza 75 machine for your Sundance Pizza 160 here in Phoenix. Gavin Rogers, once again, a perfect launch, 2x2 all the way through. Is Drew Jua trying to find the big pass on a few other drivers, but further on back, a lot of drivers being pushed around for themselves, losing to big positions with Zach Hall, who's dealing with his damage. Same for Danny Cochran in the 2, spun around in the background once again, and it just is a never-ending cycle as Danny brings out another caution, and being pushed around happens for the second time in a row.
Wow. Oh, we'll go back here on the replay, see exactly what happened here to Danny. So see him coming through here. See here, you got, who is that? GT behind him there, Sam? Oh, yeah, GT. Oh,
I think GT just had the nose. Danny was trying to block off that run. A little late, and spins off the nose of that 14 machine. So look back from the 2. Again, he's got Ross standing to the outside. 14 GT Rosari there, pushing through. Danny gets in that outside wall on the entry, which woes him up. Kanata gets past, and Danny tries to get the launch off the exit of the corner, but he tries to hold the middle. Late block to Ross, late block to GT, and away goes the 2.
Yeah, that's not recommended. Yeah, well. Oh, we'll see here as Danny just brought out the next caution here, as we're going to go back live here, ladies and gentlemen, as Danny is now down in pit road getting tires and getting some of that fixed here, as wow, there's music playing down on pit road.
Yeah, the few drivers getting repairs done. It's going to be 20th on back, going to get damage repairs. That's Nick Crawford, Joshua Kanata, going to get some tires and fuel. And then a couple of the drivers, Justin Malarkey, Ross Tatum, getting some extra damage repairs. Same for Zach Hall, Samuel Garcia, Danny Cochran, Andrew Medlin, who kind of needed those damage repairs. 3 drivers, though, officially out of this race. Tyler Dangler, Brian Noel, and Chad Wilkes all have called it an evening so far. Tyler Dangler, I believe, has blown engine. He's been in pit road for most of the race, trying to get those repairs done. So only 28 drivers going to be out there on track, but only a total of 26 on the lead lap, with Gavin Rogers up front. And this has been the normal trend. The only race that we have seen drivers that got the pole that didn't lead the most laps was the last time we ran here back in season 8. That was when we were running the ARCA cars that were in the Gen 4 weird extra horsepower era of iRacing, where iRacing accidentally gave extra horsepower to the ARCA cars, which now is turned into the Gen 4 model. That's getting an update soon here on iRacing. And that race where Brian Hicksonbaugh got the pole, didn't lead the most laps, but all of the other times we ran, the 4 out of 5, driver that has the pole leads the most laps. And right now, Gavin Rogers about to take that crown if he's up front, leads these next about 14 laps. He would be the driver with the most laps led. So we'll see how Gavin Rogers plays here for these next couple of laps, trying to get that extra bonus point on top of his stage win, as we are back to green flag action. And it is once again survival mode. The field has been warned by the admins. Let's try to calm down and get a long run if possible. And Robert, this is the worry. They're already 3 wide, battling for that 10th place position.
I was just ready to say, Sam. Admin said, let's calm down. Let's go green flag running. What do? They go 3 wide here with Larry and Seth and Ryan Kelly. Ryan Kelly's going to back out of that. And Seth really dives that car in there and pushes up in front of Larry. And Larry gave him room to be able to do that. So good racing there, and heads up from Larry England.
Yeah, seeing Larry in yellow is so odd to see. Usually is running red machines out on track, changing up the colors for this evening's race, as Sentinel I think he wants to get back to free wide racing, putting the nose underneath Terry and also Ken Campbell, who have been too wide almost all race. Noel, though, wants to get up front. Missed out on some good qualifying pace as he had 2 invalidated lap times that forced him to start all the way back in 30th position here tonight. It's been the march forward for this 57. He's now inside of the top 10, now putting the pressure to get close to the top 5. And Seth Knoll is the driver on the move to watch out for if you're the leaders. As Ken Campbell side drafts, put pinches, and then a slight contact through 3 and 4 in the 57, keeping the nose ahead over Campbell as they go into turn 1.
From side-by-side, great racing there, great side-by-side action there, and Ken Campbell can put his hand out and touch that 57 car if he wanted to there. As we're watching them now, as Seth is finally going to back off and get behind Ken Campbell, as we got Cedric Hunter now looking behind Seth there, as Ryan Kelly's going to run high. But here's a driver that we have not talked about all night yet here is Christopher Norris now showing his way up into here, Sam.
A quiet night from Christopher Norris usually means it's been a pretty good night. The 38 is doing just that. Currently runs in 10th position to be hop on board with, and running in this 10th place spot, started all the way in last, 31st position. Kind of doing the same march that Seth Knoll has done, and what a driver to follow in front of you. You've seen with the 57s trying to put those tire tracks. Is exactly what Christopher Norris is trying to run. And he's, that's a pretty good lesson to have. Seth Knoll, very, very well decorated iRacing driver, known to be inside of the top tier of racers that we'll find on the service. And if you're following one of those drivers, you're gonna get small little lessons here and there. And Christopher Norris runs 10th, one of our biggest movers, second biggest mover to Nolan. It's a great job with this current moment.
Well, that's the key too. As we're watching him right now, running up here in 10th position, but got Cedric Hunter right now trying to figure out how to get around Seth here. But yeah, it's a good way of learning some stuff there, Sam. You get some of these faster drivers, you sit behind them, you watch what they do, you watch their braking points when they get back on the gas, how they brake, things like that, and you can take little tidbits, and hopefully apply it to your race or learn as you race here, as we're on lap 64 right now of 160. So got a little under 100 laps to go here tonight.
Yeah, a little bit under 100 laps to go, and do have an update for one of our drivers. Danny Cochran has now disconnected from the server. The two call it a night after 2 rough restarts for the 2 machine. Now into the green flag run, and so far, Gavin Rogers, he is being pressured currently for that lead position. Vincent Sora not giving as much space as he did during stage 1. And I'm going to say the 51-75, that duel is going to be an all-night hunt. And I think it might come down to, if we have a green flag pit stop, who's going to have a better strategy of exiting pit road better, and who also has the fresher tires. As the battle for the lead, we see it on the screen. It's Gavin Rogers, that Sundance Pizza machine, leading for now, but Sora has been right on that back bumper since we've gone green just a few laps ago.
Exactly what you said there, right on his bumper here, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I'm just keeping an eye right now, Sam, on their lap times, and right now we'll see what they do going by this time by. And let's see here, Gavin Rogers runs a 27.8 with Vincent Sora running a 27.9, and that's a low 9. So they're literally right on top of each other. Now the question comes down to, like you said, who can save the tires? Maybe, or if you're Vincent Sora, maybe push Gavin Rogers to run that car just a little bit harder than he wants to, and make him burn up that right front tire or the right rear. And just maybe you'll be able to get him here, as we see that going down into turn 3 and 4 here.
Going down into the corner, Vincent Sora, Gavin Rogers, the fun song and dance going back and forth, putting the pressure on that back bumper. The thing is, here at Phoenix, it's so hard to make a pass cleanly. You can get a good launch into a corner or be more aggressive into the corner and feel like you should be the driver that can make a pass, but it's the exit. You have to carry the speed to complete these passes if possible. And for Sora, not able to complete the pass, but he did show an attempt. Big thing of note, though, is every attempt Seward goes for, it brings in John Forbes, Drew Jua back into the fight as they're within striking distance if a mistake is made, as Seward runs just in line. And I think at this moment, that one attempt, you're going to have to just settle in. You gave it a good try. Now it's down to, okay, how much of that pressure really is affecting Gavin Rogers? Because honestly, at this moment, Robert, I'm not seeing a big thing that's unsettling this 75. He's just running his own race, and it's down to Vincent Sora, who's going to have to make the big move to get this 75 out of shape or force a mistake by ruffling up those feathers.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, maybe he's going to have to rustle up his feathers here. We'll have to see what Vincent Sora does here towards the end of it. But if I was him right now, I would just stay behind him and just ride. I mean, there's really no reason to pass. Not only that, as we're into nighttime here, Sam, these guys' lap times, like you said, the top 4 all the way back to Drew Drua are right there, under a second right now back to and in the 88 running position. And their lap times is just watching. They're all in, right on top of each other on lap times. So, comes down to the question is, some people out there that watch and go, well, why don't you just run a little harder and pass? Easier said than done when you are running, just tenths off of each other, with the top 4 like that. And it's hard to pass.
It certainly is hard to pass, but there's one driver who has been making moves in the middle of the field who I want to give a note to. He's inside the top 10 now. At one moment was 8th, got spun out, fell all the way back to outside the top 20, currently running in 9th. It's Jarrett Talmadge in that SpongeBob machine. He was one of the starting factors after our stage came out. We were in that long spree of cautions that were coming out. The 27 was part of the first caution that came out, and he's done a fabulous job working his way forward up to 9th. And I've been looking at his pace. He's been very close to similar speed to 5th place runner James Scioli. I think for this 27, he's got some pace that can put him close to that 5th place position at the end of this run. The question is, though, how much tire wear have you burned off to this point? I think if you're Talmadge, everyone gets on the same set of tires. Watching for this 27, he could be a threat to watch out for a very good finish at the end of tonight.
That he could. We'll have to see how that all works out for him here tonight. Yeah, we'll see as he's trying to hold off, trying to catch Seth, and never mind.
Ollie Fonseca in the 24, spun around back in 25th position. Looks like trouble between Ollie and GT Irizarry as they were battling for 19th place. Talked about drivers ruffling each other's feathers. Well, this is one way to do it. It's going to be going out of turn number 4 on this upcoming lap. They're going to go down into turn number 1 and 2. You can see GT get right on that back bumper. Like I talked about, some drivers feel like you can push into the corner a lot faster, and it just gives you this momentum and thought, I can make this pass being made. Ollie with the more turning into the corner a little bit later. Irizarry puts his foot in the throttle, takes off and goes. Zach gets involved. There's the overcorrection. And Kanata gets involved, and that's going to be bringing out the caution here as we are almost to halfway. We're going to be at the halfway zone as we take the restart, but caution flags out. This is that reset if you're Jared Talmadge. The rest of the field into pit road to get service done.
Reset for Jared Talmadge, like you said, that's something he needed. Fell all the way in the back, worked his way all the way back into the top 10. We were just talking about it, Sam. You said all you need is that yellow and you can get back on the same set of tires. Well, there you go, Jared Talmadge. Now let's see if he can work his way up through the field and get up here with James and John Forbes and Vincent Sora and Galvin Rogers and Nick Crawford too, moving up to 2nd position. Will he take 2 tires?
Looking to see what happened to Gavin Rogers. I think he might have slid through his box because it's a big loss of time for the 27. And he did. Gavin Rogers overstepped his pit box, had to back up, and from the lead goes back to 5th place. Nick Crawford taking 2 tires, moves up to 2nd. The gambles, the mistakes, those are little things that can be costly. And Rogers Oh, that was not the pit stop you needed because being the lead driver, he had so much control. Now he's got to show if he's got passing power because this is the first time Rogers will not be starting up front.
Yeah, this is going to be the first time, and, you know, sliding through your pit box, Sam, that's easier said than done, right? I mean, you know, you get on the brakes, and all of a sudden, you know, you got heated tires that cool down. You don't have much grip already as it is, you know, down on pit road, and all of a sudden, you hit the brakes, and you just slides right through, and you got to hit that reverse and try to back up and get in there as fast as you can. But I want to see how this all plays out for Nick Crawford, too, taking 2 tires, see if his car gets loose. Can he stay up here with these guys here on a long run? Only time will tell, so stay tuned.
If you've ever watched Nick Crawford on either Monday nights or here on Wednesday nights, this is Crawford's MO. It is taking gambles. He knows that he's good in points. He takes big risk, and a risk here tonight. The only driver to take 2 tires on this pit stop. It rewards him up to second place. Vincent Sora rewarded because of the mistake by the 75 with the lead. John Force, huge push to the 51. They're able to both take first and second immediately. So Crawford, he's already floundering for third as Vincent Sora is loving the position he's in. Jared Talmadge, though, falls to 6th place for the 75.
That back one position. We'll see as he's going to work his way inside of who is that he's working his way inside? Oh, it's outside there. I meant to say of Seth in that number 57 as we got Nick Crawford on 2 tires.
Trouble line. That's going to be the 17 of Chris Stitz. Big slide for himself. He's fallen all the way down to 24th, 25th, still going backwards. We stay green, though. He's off the racing surface, so no yellow flag is thrown. But a big slide for the 17 as drivers, though, in trouble. Gavin Rogers, he doesn't have the clean air, and he's losing positions quickly. He's now back to 8th place, about to be falling back to 9th. And Christopher Norris with a big slide and keeps it pointing straight. We still are green as drivers are practically wanting a yellow at this point with the way that they're sliding around.
And Gavin Rogers are probably yelling, please, please bring out the yellow as he's slipping back, like you said. He gets in that dirty air, and that goes to tell you, clean air out front means a lot here at Phoenix in these next-gen vehicles here, as he's now battling here with Ken Campbell on the outside here, and Ken Campbell's going to slide up.
Contact.
Oh, my God.
Slight contact, brushing up that 75, and Kevin Rogers falls back to 8th, and now he's on threat. Behind him, it's Shane Terrian and Jared Talmadge, but Rogers, Ken, that is not a combo that you see getting into one another. Usually Ken Campbell not trying to get involved with other drivers, but it's tough with this next-gen car. But there's a big crossover move by the 75, using the gravity, using that dog leg to perfection and making the pass cleanly. I think Ken giving it up just a little bit more. Behind, though, Jared Talmadge, big slide for the 27. We stay green once again. In front, Nick Crawford slides off the exit of turn 2. There's just drivers losing spots and positions all over the place here tonight. As this last restart, there might be a full moon out, Robert, with the ways that these drivers are just losing it.
We got so much action going on right now, I can't keep up with it all. I'm shocked that you can hear as it's battling back here. But yeah, I mean, maybe there is a full moon that decided to come out here, as we'll bring up the weather here tonight, Sam, for everybody to be able to see. And you know, the weather actually looks pretty decent.
It's been decent. It's been stable. The one thing that hasn't been stable, though, is the wind. It's been shifting up and down slightly into the 10 miles per hour range, falling to about 6 miles per hour. And that shift of wind, when it dramatically shifts, that can throw out these vehicles ever so slightly. But also just the way that these tires are reacting on the restarts. I know for Nick Crawford, trouble, but caution is going to be thrown. Driver in the back, and it's the 16 of Joshua Kanata in 26th position. Looks like he might have been the driver that brought out this yellow after a slide off the exit of turn number 2. And trying to stay ahead of Sembel Garcia for 23rd position. Just a little bit too much on the throttle off the exit of the corner and loses the rear end. Tries to lock down on the brakes to straighten it out. Those two sideways when it got back on the racing surface. We're going to be seeing it here down into turn one. Garcia really putting the pressure on the back bumper as the 16 gets throttles up, gets on the apron, and that transitional phase gets the 16 loose, and with 21 passing by, that's what throws the caution out. And reset them, try it again. For some of the drivers, they're loving this yellow because it's giving them time to get repairs for those that have been in caution since lap 3. But Robert, for those up front, I would imagine they're kind of slightly nervous with how these last two restarts have been, with the ways that drivers have been snapping loose. This is a worry if you're in the middle of the field of, is it going to be you or someone around you that's going to snap loose?
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth, Sam. I was thinking it when you brought it up. You know, some of these drivers are like, yeah, I needed that yellow. And then others are like, man, I don't know. I mean, this last restart, that was just hairy all the way around. Vehicles just snapping loose, you know, all over the place. And I'm sure Nick Crawford, he's going to go down. I do believe, did he make a pit stop? Because if he didn't, I would get off of them two tires. I don't think
he did
that
not.
was. Oh man, I don't think them two tires are all. To be honest with you.
He stays out. The only drivers that went into pit road, Chris Stitz, Christopher Norris, we both saw them have big slides. They both decided to come into pit road and get tires for the both of them. Also, Zach Hull came into pit road, get more damage repair. Same for Malarkey and Tatum, Garcia, and Andrew Medlin, all getting repairs done. For Christopher Wade, not Wade, but Chris Stitz, excuse me, Wade's teammate, taking 4 tires. Curious on how that's going to be assisting the 17 to try to make his way forward. Or are cold tires just an issue overall and it really doesn't matter on your wear and tear? That's going to be something to watch out for. Can those drivers further on back on fresher, about let's say 10 lap fresher tires, 8 green flag lap fresher tires? We'll see how well they can work their way through the field, or is it just the fresh air that's king at this current moment? Gavin Rogers was able to get back up to 6th place, but can he stay there is the question on this restart, as this restart is in the hands of the 51 of Vincent Sora. John Forbes going to be on the outside. Drew Jua in 3rd with Seth Knowles, James Scioli, Rogers, Campbell, and Co. all behind and ready to go, as it's Drew Jua giving another massive shove. That 3rd place driver just is always on the back bumper of the leader, and Vincent Sora gets the push, gets the shove, holds on for now, but Drew Jua on the 88, he wants this lead bad as he sticks down below, almost fully clear from the 11 machine, but everyone else slicing and nice and behind.
Boy, that 88, like you said, he does want to lead, and right now he's got the restarts on time just perfectly. He knows when to step on that gas pedal and go here right now, as you can see these guys sliding all around in the back. As Vincent Sora's going to clear everybody, but yeah, I mean, what a battle we got going on in the middle here, Sam.
Shane Darian, probably one of the few drivers in the middle of this field that doesn't have a car to their inside or outside. Going into turn number 3. Seen behind it's Larry England as well as Nick Crawford trying to make their way forward, but in front, Ken Campbell, Scioli, all trying to see where to go, but it's the biggest mover of the day, starting back in 30th, now up to 4th. Seth Knoll trying to go back-to-back on wins. He was the favorite entering tonight just because of how quick he was last week and dominant he was. Got to put a handicap on the fact that he struggled with qualifying. No, none of his laps counted. So starting back at practically in last place, the 57 has done a masterclass on how to work through the field and having the knowledge of how to pass drivers with 30 air. This is going to be critical to watch out for, but trouble behind for some drivers. It looked like it was Jared Talmadge. Big slide as he lost time and a huge scare around. As Malarkey and Co. watching the drivers in front, it is who can survive through these corners, as the exits have been very tough as the run progresses on.
So we're watching Cody Reed right now, and GT Arizari, as he was involved in a couple things right now. He's trying to rebound back in his event here tonight, as he got Thompson there in front of him, and Cody Reed's going to look on the high side and get that run on the outside. Oh, nope, he's going to scrape the wall a little bit, and then right behind him is Chris at the new fresh tires there, and he really hasn't made up much ground yet on them fresh tires there, Sam.
I mean, he's able to make at least passes so far. With your Stitz, yes, you have a slight advantage. It's not a big advantage on these tires, so you still need to slowly take any opportunities that are given in front of you. And I think that's why we're not seeing really the 17 be as aggressive as he wants. Also recognizing we still have a lot of racing to go. Yes, we're closing in on 65 laps left in this race, but anything could happen in those 65 laps. You don't want to just throw away your race now if you're feeling like Superman with the freshest set of tires. But up front, I'm giving have to give him his flowers. Gavin Rogers, that last restart, the previous one, the one we just had, was an absolute nightmare for the 75. This go around, much better. He's up 2 spots from where he started on that restart, up to 4th, and some pressure on Sentinel. I think Rogers might be figuring out his dirty air and how to run around some of these drivers a lot better than he was, like I said, on that last restart.
Yeah, it's starting to look like he's starting to figure it out, like you said there, Sam. And, you know, when you're leading the race and you got that clean air, as you see right now, it's a sort of cool way. With that clean air, you get back in this dirty air, it changes the character of the car, and it changes the way the car handles, reacts into the turns, and you know, you got to adjust to that. And sometimes it takes drivers, you know, a couple laps to figure that part out, and some it takes, you know, multiple laps to figure it out. But right now, I think Calvin Rogers there has figured it out profoundly, and is starting to look like he's going to try to work his way back up through the field here, or just maybe just sit in the back here and, you know, just wait for a little bit as we're on lap 97. 160.
Maybe wait and see how the tires react, or see an opportunity where you finally pounce and strike. Also, if you might be wondering what the blinking on our ticker board was for a second there, 3 Brian Kelly's been having some really wicked internet issues. He's been blinking in and out for most of the evening. Currently runs in 11th position. A lot of drivers around the 3 are concerned because he keeps disappearing, reappearing. Same for GT Rizzari. It's been a worry all night long. Right on board with this 75. Got real close there. Robert almost able to make the pass, but this 75 machine, Gavin Rogers, the Sundance Pizza machine, you know when you're one of the sponsored drivers of this series and you've got the race being sponsored by you, there's just a little bit of something more that makes you want to win that race, especially for Rogers, knowing that this is one of his home racetracks. He wants this win so badly.
Yeah, that, you know, if you're in the Phoenix area, make sure you check out, you know, Sundance Pizza, look them up in your local area, and if they are around you, you know, a hot sub or, you know, cheesesteak, nice pizza. Of course, you know, it ain't going to be a Freaky Fast broadcasting if it's not Roberts talking about food, and I think Sam brought that into me.
I don't know if I can blame that on me, but...
You brought it up.
I mean, we're just talking about the sponsor. That's all that it was.
Yeah, that's true, but, you know, we always have to talk about some kind of food here. But, yeah, right now, like you said there, Sam, we'll have to see what Calvin Rogers is doing. I noticed, too, though, Calvin Rogers and Drew Brewer, they're both running a different line. They're in 1 and 2 compared to the 4 of earlier what he was doing. He's running just a little bit higher to get that clean air off that, you know, from that 57.
And that's the big thing, like you said, clean air. You are always searching for where there is air that you put on the front bumper that can just help you get through the corners. And Seth Knoll goes a little bit wide, an opportunity shows for Gavin Rogers, strikes to the inside. But when you're that inside driver, you can, it's so hard to get the better launch off the exit of the corners and really fully complete that pass. You look deeper in the field, drivers side by side battling back and forth. This is currently the battle that's happening for 11th position between Brian Kelly and Tom Simchak. Simchak watching 3 get by. There is a hornet's nest of drivers that are on top of one another from about 9th all the way back to around 17th place. They're just looking for an opportunity to make a pass.
Looking as we got a rebound there from the 38. He's trying to go, but look who's starting to move up through the field as Nick Crawford on 2 tires is unfortunately starting to fade back there, Sam. But anyways, that 17 of, oh, hang on there, GT. I thought he was going to try to make it 3 wide there, but Chris Stent is slowly moving his way up through the field there with the fresh tires.
Chris Stent has really been looking good with patience that he's showing right now. It's going to help him move forward. Closing the gap in qualified for the 17th position. He's now up 4 spots from where he qualified, and using these tires to perfection as others are starting to fall away. He still has that grip underneath him. GT Rosario 14's been one of the more aggressive drivers, but probably one of the better surprise runs. Zach Hall, after early troubles and all night long, he's been working on this one machine. You know, didn't qualify where he wanted, qualified 18th place. He runs, qualified 16th, excuse me, now runs 18th. The one machine's got some work to try to continue going forward, but I'm looking at his pace compared to those that are around him, and all running very similar lap times. I don't think his race is completely over, but it really is going to come down to if he's going to finish inside of the top 10. He's going to need a lot of help from drivers wrecking themselves out of this thing, or come down to strategy. But all running for a top 15, it is still wide open and right there.
Very true. It might come down to strategy, pit stop strategy if we stay green. We'll have to see how that all plays out for Zach. But yeah, what a rebound for that number 1 machine. He was involved in that first incident on lap 3 of the race. Then he got spun around again there in the middle of the race, and he's slowly got his damage fixed, back here running where he basically qualified. And we'll see how that all plays out as he's working underneath Cody Reed here right now to try to take over that 17th position there, Sam.
There it is, trying. It is difficult at this moment. You're seeing Nick Crawford really struggling at this moment for the 74. He's just trying to keep this thing underneath him as GT Rosario getting a nice show of the blinking 3 in front. But looking back, Nick Crawford, every lap is an unknown of is he going to wiggle or not. And I feel like we're closing in on that spot. In the next probably 5 laps or so, we're going to be in a position where most of the field is going to be questioning, are we going to be slipping and sliding off the exit of these corners? As the heat builds up, the tire wear falls away. It's all about who can stay with these tires underneath them. But, talking about that, there goes Malarkey into the outside wall for the 73. He keeps that nose pointing straight after the contact with the wall, so we stay green. But that 73 machine is junked, and he has got a long way to go to get to pit road.
Yeah,
as it's off the exit of turn number 2. As he crosses the line, about to be going into turn number 1, putters around, and just as talking about, you need to keep your tires underneath you. 73 falls apart. That's required damage, broken toe length for himself, a lot of broken parts after that contact. But the rest of the field, this is going to be one of the longest runs that we've had so far without having a stage break or a caution. So the field knows these tires are going to get tougher and tougher. And Robert, I'm curious for those that are up front, who's got this pace to try to run down Vincent Sora, because the clean air, based off what we're seeing right now, is just too strong. If you're the leader, you're running in your own zip code, even with the drivers trying to keep up with you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now, I don't know. I mean, again, it's all about tires. You said within the next 5, 10 laps here, these tires are going to start slipping and sliding. What drivers saved the tires, what drivers didn't. But, what's catching me interesting with the clean air, we watch Vincent Sora, he's pulling around, pulling away. The 1.36, 1.3, second over John Forbes here is what I'm trying to get at here. And then Galvin Rogers, when he was out front, he did pull away as much as Vincent Sora. So I wonder, if Vincent Sora just has that overall speed more than, Galvin Rogers out in the clean air? Or was Galvin Rogers actually just staying out front, and trying to save his tires?
It could be a mixture of both, of trying to save tires and also just trying to run to a certain point of a race. Because usually for Gavin Rogers, it was for that first stage, he was trying to stay ahead as much as possible, and Vincent Sora did run down and catch him in the long run. At this current moment, Rogers runs back in 6th place. John Forbes able to run and keep ahead of Noel. And here's where Stitz is. He's finally cracked the top 10.
10 lap pressure tires, and look at him now. He's going to work right around Larry there, Sam.
gets by. That's now going to be up to 9th place for Chris Stitz. He's now got the 9 machine of Shane Terrian ahead. And to get to that patience route, when we were talking early in the run about, hey, these drivers have fresh rubber, why aren't they making big passes? They were saving their rubber for this exact moment. When everyone else is struggling, they have to back off and not get back on the throttle as quickly. If you protected your tires at this point of the race, you are going to be thriving if you get back to the throttle, keep good pace on the straightaways. And that's exactly what we're seeing here from Chris Stitz as he's trying to set up a pass on the 9 machine and Terrian currently holds steady. Chris Stitz looks promising that he's going to be able to get by these next 2 drivers and hoping to get by Ken Campbell if possible, and maybe even attempt to go up to 6th place and challenge Gavin Rogers before this race is over. But we're coming down to the end of this thing, about to be 40 laps to go. And Robert, it's kind of crazy how quick this race has kind of, in a blink of an eye, we're into the second half. Green flag racing, really, these Phoenix races can go away quickly once you get to see some good racing around the track. It's not a little bit of pit and caution and pace simulator runs that Phoenix sometimes breeds.
Very, very true there, Sam. But that said, as we're getting ready to go, we should hit our very last commercial here, until the end of the races. We're going to wait for a little bit longer until pit stops.
I mean, if you're wanting to throw to commercial, this probably be our last time to do it, because these guys get a little bit antsy on some of the moves, and we'll take a quick side-by-side commercial break. You won't miss a thing, as we will, like I said, stay side-by-side. For us up in the booth, we will step for our final commercial break of the evening. You're watching the WSSR Cup Series as race 8 of the season for season 10 is underway. You're watching the Sundance Pizza 160 in Phoenix. We'll be back after this with more Phoenix action. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Cup Series on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Let's say thank you to Trophy Smack and GTR Simulators. If you're just joining us, well, we've had some pockets of green flag racing, pockets of caution-filled action, and right now we've been on a green flag run for the past about 40 laps. It has been fun action to see here for the Sundance Pizza 160 at Phoenix Raceway. Currently, it's Vincent Sora. After making the pass over Gavin Rogers under pit road, this 51 has not looked back. Rogers, though, currently trying to find a way to go forward, but is heading backwards now. Falls to 10th place and under fire, being passed by a few other drivers at this current time. Up front, Sora's feeling good, but it is everyone trying to find a way to get by the 75 machine as Rogers just looks out of sorts at this current moment. As also other drivers having trouble as John Forbes Jr. as he had a big slide contact between himself and Drew Jua. Jua made contact, same spot that he hit with Jarek Talmadge going into turn number 3. We somehow stay green, but the 11 goes from trying to stay in second to now staying, in 6th, now all the way down to 12.
Wow, that is that's a loss, but yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if that 11 can rebound back as these tires are now probably going to start to be evil here at these guys right now. But also seen, Rogers, he did hit the wall there, Sam. So how much damage and did that put on that 75? If any, as right there, he just scraped it again.
Yeah, the outside wall is not your friend, but raise it just slightly, it can help you straighten out, but it will cost you on straightaway pace. One of the drivers trying to push their way forward as best as they can. So Thompson Jack currently runs in 13th position. He's being challenged behind on the inside on the 8 of Brian McCann. McCann, one of our bigger movers of the day, 14 spots from where he qualified. Kudos to McCann on how he's driving. Also, some of our other biggest movers of the day, Cody Reed, up 19 positions. Christopher Norris up 22. They run 9th and 10th currently. They have a chance to grab a few more positions as Shane Terrian and Cedric Hunter go back and forth for 7th and 8th place. But the biggest mover of the day, Seth Knoll, runs in 2nd, but he is 2 seconds off of Vincent Sora with less than 30 laps to go. Sora just wants this race to stay clean and green as the duels all around the field continue on. Again, it's Shane Terrian, Cedric Hunter, back and forth. Hunter still not able to get the better exit that he's looking for in the 9. Keeps steady for 7th.
Oh, that's it. He stays steady for 7th. Cedric Hunter's going to take it low. Shane Terrian running a completely different line than Cedric Hunter here. But, get exiting these corners here. If you can pitch that car down low and not let them get that run off the corner, is right now is your friend here right now. Like you said, with 30 laps to go, with actually 25 laps here to go. So we'll have to see how this all plays out as Cody Reed and Christopher Norris now are going to get nose to tail here and see if they can catch up here to Shane Terrian and Cedric Hunter there, Sam.
Trying to find your footing. Also, Gavin Rogers, he's fallen back to the battle for 12. Tom Sinchak, Brad McCann about to be trying to make the pass over the 75. Rogers, his pace is off. It is way off from where it was earlier on. And last lap was almost a full second. He was about a half a second, off of Vincent Sora, our leader. It's about to be falling outside of our top 15. He continues to run low. And for the field, they have 25 laps to go. 26 laps to go before this race is over. And it could be coming down to patience of how have you protected your tires to make it to the end of this run. But Vincent Sora now over 3 seconds over Seth Knoll as the race progresses forward. Our top around the battle for 4th all the way back to 20th, all within 6 seconds, but the gaps in between, it's 2 tenths here, 2 tenths there. There's only a few drivers with a big gap in between. It is really everyone on top of each other.
And as they're spread out here, we'll have to see how this all plays out. But right now, I think the call of the race, if we stay stay green here is actually that 17 machine here, Sam. Got 10 laps better tires than anybody else right now, and it's actually starting to show. All the way up to 5th position, right behind his teammate there, Ken Campbell.
Yeah, Ken Campbell and Chris Stitz, both from Storm Motorsports. And Storm Motorsports last season into this season, we weren't sure if they were going to find that luck changing factor. Luck has not been on their side. They both, for the whole entire team as a whole, that's Christopher Wade, Andrew Medlin, Ken Campbell, Chris Stitz. It seemed like every race that they would show good pace, they would get caught up in a mess. But these last few races, it's been seeing Ken Campbell find a little bit more comfort zone on how he's running, as well as now start to see Chris Stitz. Good strategy call on his part. After a big slide, opportunity to head into pit road and change those tires. It's put him in a spot where he's now can be driving for a top 5 finish, as slipping up and now having the challenge of Drew Jua back side by side with the 17. See who can solidify that position, as well as a pass was made for second place. James Scioli able to get by Seth Knoll as the 77. Now was going to be the driver 4 seconds off of Vincent Sora, who is still putting down burner lap times. And Robert, you were talking about for the longest time pit road, pit stops. We weren't given a fuel number call of how long they could go, but based off the pace that I'm seeing from Vincent Sora and James Scioli compared to the rest of the field, this race could come down to fuel and who's got it.
Yeah, if they keep up the pace, and maybe they'll back off, and try to save some fuel. Again, we weren't given the number of tonight's race here. They do run 100% fuel, so not too sure how far they can go. Right now, they are on their stint of 65 laps, other than Chris Stentz, that is on 55 laps, but everybody else is, on this long 65 lap stint. It's the longest stint that we had for tonight. So, like you said, Sam, we'll have to wait and see, if it comes down to fuel or not with 18 laps to go here. They might come down to the end where they got to start clutching it, maybe save a lap or 2, maybe.
Well, we do have in the chat. I want to say thank you to Rev, who's out there giving us the call. It's around 90 laps of fuel that these drivers can go on fuel. So based off of how many laps are left, they are around that window. If you can save fuel, you can make it to that 90-lap window. But if you aren't able to save a lap or so, it's going to be close for some of these drivers, and I think that's why we're seeing some of the field running close to what Vincent Sora's pace is, while others have fallen off over a half a second compared to what he's been running. And Gavin Rogers over the radio seems to be talking about trying to save fuel. That's why he's so off the pace compared to where he was at running instead of a top 10. So I think it's down to the fuel mileage here, Robert, of some drivers feel like they're 100% good, while others, they're in that question mark zone of, do I still need a lap or so?
Well, that's too, being out there, you got your spotter in your ear, your crew chief, and you're trying to save the gas, and they'll say, okay, we need a half a lap. Nope, now we need a whole lap. Nope, you're good a lap now. Well, nope, now you're down a half a lap, and you're just playing with that throttle, and you're even if you can use the clutch a little bit just to kill that engine and keep that RPMs down, can go a long way. And like you said, Galvin Rogers said he's trying to save fuel, and we'll see if he can do it or see what happens here with 15 laps to go. All I know is one thing, Sam, gonna come down. Oh, what a save!
Christopher Norris, Tom Simchek getting close to John Forbes in the mix, as well as that SpongeBob machine. That rear end is not happy for Christopher Norris. Every time he tries to throttle up, it just wants to snap on him, especially through the corners, as Norris is just trying his best to get around this track. And, we were talking about how a quiet night is a good night for Christopher Norris. Well, it's starting to get a little bit more antsy as every lap it's a question. And Norris isn't the only one. He's just one of many drivers that have the same sensation on this track for these final 13 to 12 laps. It's just going to get worse and worse when we get on the throttle pedal. And it's a question of, can we stay green to the end of this thing, or will someone just ultimately loop it and reset the field before this race is over?
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little worried here because You make that right rear mad. You can see it right now, Sam, with Christopher Norris. That car is not happy, and the more you keep doing that and not get that thing cooled down, eventually it's going to snap on you, and you're not going to be ready for it. And like you said, it's just not him right now. As we got Jared Thomas now going to look down underneath Christopher Norris, try to make that pass here. But you got multiple cars right now. You see Ryan Kelly back there; he's swaying a little bit too. So there's multiple cars with 11 laps to go, and we'll see what happens here.
11 laps to go. No one's showing signs that they're going to be heading into pit road. Everyone's going to be trying to make it to the end of this race, as it is Vincent Sora with over 5.5 seconds over James Scioli. He looks pretty stout and steady as long as this race stays green. And he's the driver to watch out for. Is Christopher Norris, Talmadge side by side with blinking 3 behind Larry Yingling. And just going back and forth as Talmadge and Norris using each other up the exit of the corner. And Yingling's going to be able to get right to the tailpipes of that 38. Going to be trying to go for a pass on the outside. Talmadge will take that pass cleanly over Norris through the dog leg, but that was not probably the way Norris wanted to be used up through 3 and 4. The 38 just continues to try to just stay on track as Ryan Kelly now, the young driver, trying to figure out how do I get behind Norris here with these laps ticking away with less than 10 to go.
10 to go here as we'll move up here to Chris Stent now and see he's trying to get underneath the lap car of Ollie Fonseca. You got Drew Drua, same thing. He is starting to snap out of control here, but with basically 8 laps to go, 7 to go here soon across the line. We'll see how this vehicle is handling for Vincent Suarez. He's got almost now a 6-second lead. Like you said earlier, he's in his own zip code, and he's probably going to make a new zip code.
Feeling comfortable up front at this current time. Not a lot of pressure being put on the 51. And he is looking for this race to be the momentum shifter. Everything can really change for how this season started to the way that this middle of the season has turned around. Vincent Sora is turning into the kid of old, where he was just dominating each and every race and being the driver up front that you just knew was going to be in that win fight, the title fight, 2-time WSSR champion, trying to set up the momentum here in the later stages of the regular season to set up that championship push once again. And for Vinny, it's been so many second place finishes in so many different leagues that we've covered, from the ISRC Truck Series to here on WSSR to even the charity race that we just had, crazy enough to say, a few weeks ago, for our Daytona, 6 Hours of Daytona charity event. Thank you to everyone that helped us with that event. But Vincent Sora coming up second in that race. He just wants to get a win to remember that it's possible for himself.
Yeah, sometimes you start second guess yourself. Race car drivers do that, right? I mean, you got the speed, you got the talent, and you've won before. And then all of a sudden that just goes out the door. And you start trying to figure out, what am I doing wrong? I know how to drive these cars. I know how to race. What am I doing wrong? And sometimes it's just, things just don't, turn out the way you want it, or you just don't roll that lucky dice, and like some people get in life. Race car drivers go through the same things, them highs and them lows. And, like we noted in the past couple of broadcasts here at WSSR, Vincent Sora at the beginning of the year, we all were shaking our head going, what in the world is going on? And now the past 3 weeks, he is now back to the Vincent Sora that we've known and we have seen. And we thought Galvin Rogers would have gave him a battle, but unfortunately it looks like Galvin Rogers' night's going to end with being a lap down.
Yeah, Gavin Rogers, again, focusing on fuel saving. That's his big thing to note. That's on the mind of that 75 to make it to the end of this race, while others, their mindset is just to get into victory lane if possible. And what a time it's been to watch some of these drivers going back and forth between one another, but it has been fun to see how the field has come together to with how the start of the race was. We had that lap 3 caution, then we were able to stay green. After the stage, kind of got a little bit messy for how this race was, but off the exit of turn number 4, Vincent Sora finally can look up to the flag stand and see that white flag. It's official. Whoa. Even with Christopher Norris wrecked and spun out after the dog leg, that will not bring out a caution. The 51 just has one more corner to go. It's crazy to say that finishing second is a slump, but for the most Waynish driver in the WSSR Cup Series, it is. And Vincent Sora can say he's back in the win column. Vinny, winner in season 10. And Sundance Pizza 160 goes to the 51 of Vincent Sora.
What a run. Finally, he gets it in victory lane. Like you said, the most winning driver here at WSSR. Puts himself up there with another win. Wow, what a great run. What a great race, actually. Like you said, got a little hairy and messy there in the middle, but, once it got by that little fiasco, the race actually turned out pretty good, and these drivers had to save tires, and some of it did, and unfortunately, Christopher Norris, wherever he's going to finish at there, Sam, unfortunately, we knew his car was not, handling the way it should be, but other than that, congratulations to this 51 as he's going to get ready to burn it down there.
Vincent Sora gets to have his fun doing some burnouts here tonight. For us, though, the show's not over. We will step away for a few moments. When we come back, it's the post-race show where we'll talk to our top 3, get their thoughts on tonight's race, and also prep you for future races that we have here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you for joining with us. Again, we'll be back in a few moments. It's the post-race show. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the post-race show of the WSSR Cup Series. Your Sundance Pizza 160 winner will be the 51 of Vincent Sora as we head to victory lane. Let's see if we can talk to this 51 machine. Vinny, it's Sam up in the booth. Congratulations on getting your win for the season, your 21st career win in the WSSR. How are you feeling after this one? Because it looked like it was going to be tough to try to make that pass under green flag conditions, but you found your way up front through pit stops and ultimately the win.
Yeah, dude, I am just through the roof with excitement right now. It has been so long since I've won in this league or on an oval on iRacing. I think it was like June or July in the ISRC Truck Series. I've just had terrible luck, a lot of second places, and races that just didn't fall my way. But tonight, I went into it with a lot of confidence, and I knew it was going to be a lot about track position, and I figured out a lot in the first run. I knew that I was either a little bit quicker or like dead even with Gavin there, just because I didn't really fall off from his car, and I kept it about 5/10. And then I knew going into the next run, I just needed to keep it close, and I did just that. I put a little bit of pressure on him, and we got another yellow, and I saw him slide through his box just a little bit, and I knew that was going to be wraps for him. And I got the lead there on that pit cycle, and I just kind of used John as a barrier for me to Seth and James and all those guys. I know John had been struggling a little bit on the long run to keep the right rear under him, and I just spent the whole entire run babying my tires, and then when I decided I wanted to go and build a little bit of a gap, I was able to do that pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, Vinny, it looked like the restarts were the only danger zone if we were going to see anyone put pressure on you. Were there at any moments throughout this race that you felt like, oh, I got to be careful here because someone got a better jump?
Yeah, I mean the restarts were pretty tough, especially because I was the first car on the outside, restarting in P2 for most of them, and I mean unless you jump it perfectly to where, you're not going to get penalized for it, and it looks like you go even, you're just not going to be able to get the guy who has control. There's just no way restarting in like the exit of a corner. And then he has the entire dog leg to cut. So, yeah, I mean, I knew on the restarts when I was in second that I just needed to hold on to P2 or try my best. And if I fell back to third, work with John or see what happened there in the next few laps. But, yeah, I got a little bit lucky tonight on the restarts, not lose any more positions than what I did. And, yeah, I just kind of held on and got what I could.
I mean, Vinny, I know you're probably just tired of hearing it at this point, but you struggled so much at the beginning of this season. How we've seen in the last 3-4 races, you finally finding your groove again. How do you feel like this win, though, is going to set you up for these final few races in the regular season to go into the playoffs here in just about a month and a half?
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good. You and I talked last Wednesday about the tracks ahead, and if I had any confidence, and I do, this was honestly not one of the ones that I would have had circled. But I'm happy to have speed anywhere. Yeah, last week was a big confidence boost for me to be one of the only guys even close, I say with quotations, to Seth. Yeah, I tried to take everything with a grain of salt last week, and I just looked back on it, and I knew that if I would have done a few things differently, I could have at least made it a race. And I went in tonight kind of in the same headspace of, I know I have the ability, and if I could just get everything done perfectly on my end, then I can go win some races. And now that's what I'm going to focus on doing for the rest of the regular season and into the playoffs.
Well, Vinny, it's great to see you back into victory lane. And before we let you go, the floor's now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, just shout out everybody in here tonight for keeping it clean there for those last like 50 or 60 laps. I was about to have a nervous breakdown every time I came across the stripe, just begging for it to be lap 160. So shout out to everybody in here. Shout out to my teammates at Nightmare Fuel. We should retain the points lead here. Shout out to you guys for broadcasting, and everybody at home watching.
Well, that will be your victor here tonight for the Sundance Pizza 160 of the 51 of Vincent Sora. Congratulations, Vinny, on this win. Enjoy it, and good luck next week at Darlington.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You too. As we move from ourselves from victory lane, we now go to second place to go talk to James Scioli in the 77 and get his thoughts on tonight's race. James, it's Sam up in the booth. Congratulations for second place here tonight. It looked like you had a lot of yo-yoing, going back and forth with a lot of these drivers, trying to get into that second place position. How are you feeling though on your tonight's performance?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for bringing me up here. Just was really just trying to save tires the whole race. I knew that the rears would come into play. It's weird here at Phoenix. It takes about 30 laps before you really notice anything. So you can kind of drive like Superman, and then all of a sudden it's like a light switch and your rear's just gone. So knew the whole race I was just kind of going to be praying for a long run. So I figured I'd just roll that long run mentality. Try not to give up too many spots, but just kind of settle into my own little pocket where I can get some clean air and just try and save. And definitely worked to get me up to second. I don't know if maybe just being in dirty air from the beginning of that run really just hurt me that much, or if Vincent was just that much better saving tires. But he was gone, so definitely glad to get to second. But definitely still got smoked. So there's some improvement there.
Well, I mean, James, we saw a lot of restarts tonight with all the cautions that were thrown. We also saw how you needed to ebb and through flow at times. How was it trying to react on restarts, seeing different drivers being so aggressive on those immediate laps?
Yeah, it's tough because you see everybody, they're all pushing super hard on those restarts. And then even once you settle into a groove, you're like, okay, well, now I'm eighth and I'm not gaining on these guys still. And it's still taking more and more laps. And you see them start driving away from you. So you definitely get a little worried that you don't really know. Like I said, it takes about 30 laps before you really find out whether or not your saving was good enough. So like even on that last run, I saw like Gavin Rogers. I let him go and saw him drive up and thought he was going to get up to second, third, and then all of a sudden he just started dropping like a rock. So definitely tough out there to try and manage, especially with everybody's different levels of pushing for sure.
Well, with tonight's performance, kind of solidifies you in a better spot points wise moving forward. With regular season coming to a close here, we got 4 more races left: Darlington, Road America, the Milwaukee Mile, and then we head to Daytona. What's your confidence for these next 4 races to set you up heading into the playoffs?
Definitely looking forward to Darlington and Road America if I can make it. I might miss that one, but if I can make it, definitely looking forward to those two. Milwaukee's going to be tough. That's always a really difficult track to pass. You can get runs and get underneath somebody, but it's just so hard with the shape of the corners to make passes there. So I have a feeling it'll be on the right rear though, so probably a lot of tire wear and maybe make some moves late in runs like we were able to tonight. And then Daytona, you never really know. So feel pretty solid. Definitely sucks to miss last week, and like I said, might miss Road America. So that'll definitely hurt my regular season playoff standings a little bit. But all in all, looking forward to the rest of the regular season.
It was awesome to see you out there on track with a second place finish. And before we let you go, James, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Thanks, guys. First, want to shout out you guys for putting on these races, broadcasting for us, letting us run once a week. We really appreciate it. You guys do great work. So big shout out to you guys and the admin team as well. Taking time out of their day just to be admins for us. That's huge. It really helps. So helps keep races clean too. Like you said, we had a couple of yellows, but all in all, we were able to get some pretty good green flag runs too. So big shout out to all you guys. And then Lucky Ducks Motorsports, Seth and Drew both finished up front, so glad to see them. Unfortunately, Brian got tagged early, but good team points day. Then shout out to Meals on Wheels, Simrap Market, Mobile One, Team Rubicon, and Tiltify for being on the car. And hopefully, I'm talking to you guys again next week.
Open for that as well. Well, that would be your second place finisher here tonight in the 77 machine at James Scioli. James, congratulations and good luck next week.
Thanks, guys.
As we move from second place, we go down to third, where we will be bringing in Seth Nolan, get his thoughts on tonight's race. Seth, it's Sam up in the booth. Congratulations on third. I know qualifying didn't go the way that you planned for it. Started all the way back in 30th, but man, it was fun watching you work through the field. How are you feeling on your performance this evening?
Uh, we did plan to start back there. I wanted to have some fun just driving from the back and have some fun on the restarts. That's my favorite part of this track. So, um, we got to experience that. Really hard to pass all night. Dirty air was really bad. Vincent had the best run there at the end and capitalized on everyone else's tires being gone and pulled away.
I mean, it's pretty simple of notes. Although we had plenty of restarts here tonight. What was the most difficult portion of the restarts? Because, like we said, you started in the back, you worked your way forward, made it look easy at moments. But what were those restarts like for yourself?
I mean, it really depended on where you were. Once you were like top 8, it really wasn't that crazy. But from like ninth to 20th, that little area is always really chaotic because if someone gets a bad restart up front, kind of squeezes the whole field back together, and we're all sending each other and trying to get everything we can just because it's so hard to pass in the long run. But yeah, I mean, the Canes car wasn't quite in victory lane tonight, but we'll see what happens if I show up next week or the week after that.
Running part-time, Seth, it's been awesome to have you out on track. If you do show up for those races, are you planning on starting in the back again, or are you wanting to qualify up front?
Uh, if I run Road America, I'll probably qualify. If I run Darlington, I'll probably start out back. We'll have some
All
fun
right.
driving to the field.
Well, it gives us a great show to watch. Seth, congratulations on third. It's a pleasure to have you out on track, like I said again. And before we let you go, the floor's now yours for any other shout-outs.
I appreciate the Nexus boys. Appreciate the Lucky Duck boys for letting me chill with them these last couple weeks and have some fun laughing at Drew wrecking people. And all the Nexus boys for getting us ready for 24 this weekend and go have some fun Saturday and Sunday.
All right, sounds good. That is going to be Seth Knoll coming away with third here tonight in that 57 Canes machine. Congratulations, Seth, on third. Enjoy it, and hopefully we'll be seeing you next week.
I appreciate you, boys.
As that will be our top three. Our spotlight driver, we talked about him for quite a bit, comes away fifth here tonight. It's Chris Ditz in the 17. Chris, it's Sam up in the booth. I mean, you had an eventful evening. You had some of the freshest tires there late, able to climb all the way up to fifth position. How are you feeling after your performance here this evening?
I'm feeling pretty good. I wasn't too sure I would be able to make it back up through the field where I was, having spun in the dog leg there, almost spun all the way there around, but I was able to get that fresh rubber and I was just passing cars on the outside. Car felt really good. Track kind of came to me, and fortunately we had a long green flag run, which worked in my benefit. I usually get in those situations and we'll get another yellow like 10 laps down the road and then everyone's on the same tires again. So it was nice to be on the good side of the strategy for once.
Yeah, I mean, talking about trying to get on the good side, I know for yourself and most of the Storm Motorsports team, you guys have been trying to find luck on your side. You've had some pretty bad luck the last season and a little bit of portion of this season. How does it feel to start seeing a little bit more of that momentum moving your way?
It's really nice. Last season was a really long season. I don't think I finished inside the top 10 once, maybe once at a plate track, I think. But Ken and I have been, really trying to work and get pretty good at just being in the right place at the right time and making the right calls. And so far, so good. I know Ken's had a really good season. I've had a couple bad races this season, but nonetheless, I think this is my second top 5 this season, so it feels really good.
It is your second top 5. Looking at the points, you entered tonight 20th. And after a performance like this, there's a chance you're going to be very close to that cut line to the points. We have 4 races left in the season: Darlington, Road America, the Milwaukee Mile, and then the 2008 configuration of Daytona. Those upcoming 4 races, what's the confidence level that you might be able to make that playoff push?
I think I can make a good playoff push here. Road America is going to be a little tougher for me. Never really run that in anything other than Xfinity car, I believe. So I'm gonna have to put some good practice in for that. But just continue with this momentum that we have now and keep moving forward and hopefully get another top 5 in the near future and solidify, or just get a win. Matter of fact, just win a race and solidify ourselves in the playoffs.
That sounds like a plan, Chris. It was an awesome run to watch you carve your way through the field there in that last run to come away fifth here tonight. Before we let you go, though, the floor's now yours for any shout-outs.
Firstly, I want to thank you guys up in the booth for everything you do, putting on these races for us week in, week out. Definitely gonna go back and watch this one again. And secondly, thank you to everyone that runs this league, everyone that's involved in just making things happen. Huge thanks to them. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this every week. And thirdly, my teammates Andrew Medlin, Ken Campbell, and Christopher Wade. Really love having them as teammates. But
It's It sounds good, Chris. Well, thank you so much for joining us and being our spotlight driver. Congratulations on fifth here tonight. enjoy this one, and hopefully we'll be seeing you into victory lane here shortly. And good luck next week at Arlington.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
You too. Again, that's going to be our 4 drivers. We got to talk to top 3 and 5th place of Chris Stitz. As we move over and take a look at our unofficial results, a lot of movement happening for some, but a lot of the drivers that stayed up front stayed there, as Vincent Sora going to come away with the win, his first win since last season, all the way back in September, and it's felt like a long couple of months for that 51 team. But he's finally back into victory lane. Behind him, though, it's going to be James Scioli, Seth Knoll, as well as Ken Campbell coming away 4th. A great run for that 15 machine. Chris Stitz coming away with 5th. 6th is Drew Jua, with Cedric Hunter 7th. 8th, we find Cody Reed with Sheen Tyrion 9th. And finishing out the top 10 is Brian McCannon. Those top 10, some big movers for some of them. Cody Reed up 21 spots. He needed a good day today to get inside of the top 25 in points to make his win back at Atlanta at the top of the season count to automatically give him a berth in the playoffs. Also, Brian McCann up 18 spots with the biggest mover, Seth Knoll. Intentionally starting in the back, Robert, that is certainly a call that some drivers go for. You don't see it very often work out when you intentionally put yourself in the back on such a tough track like Phoenix, but it certainly did work for that 57.
Yeah, that it did. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it worked out for him. You know, congratulations to him. You know, starting the back, working way up through, as we thought that, you know, he didn't do it on purpose, but kind of shocking to hear that. But hey, you know, drivers like to test certain things out, and that's testing out tonight. But outside that top 10 here, looking at you know, 13th, John Ford Jr., 13th. Up there lead, up there, you know, battling for the lead, second, third positions, gonna come from 13th position there, Sam. And looking down through the rest of your, you know, your grid here, results actually, sorry about that, not your grid. Results, Nick Crawford, 17th. That's a shocker there. And then you got Zach Hall, didn't have a good night. Unfortunately, he's going to come home in 19th position after qualifying around 18th position here tonight. And we look through the rest of the field here as get ready to bring down the standings here and get your final thoughts here, Sam.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise had to be Gavin Rogers, giving up the lead to Vincent Sora in pit road just by sliding through your box. That was the whole entire race changing at the halfway point of this race. The last time they hit pit road, that was the changing moment. Chad Wilkes is going to be the last driver here for tonight's race. He was caught up in those earlier wrecks, but for tonight, I want to say thank you so much for joining with us. We still have one more race to give you coverage of this week, and that will be the season finale for the Shoney's Doghouse Cup Series tomorrow night, as it's the last race. Who's being crowned the champion? Is it Brandon Gooey or Brandon Six? After the run last week, it looks almost perfect for Brandon Six to be clinching the championship just by starting the race. But we will have to see. Homestead is going to be the next race. We also were given the word end of February, ISRC Truck Series. They're back for season 8. There's going to be a lot of new drivers showing up, some veterans coming back, and a lot of those top dogs stepping away from full-time racing. So a new champion could be lingering in February, going to be back on Monday nights. But next week, we get to see Darlington, a historic track for NASCAR, and it has been giving historic moments in the WSSR. Don't want to miss it. It's going to be a great run for ourselves. But Robert, any final thoughts before we call it an evening here tonight?
Oh, just a couple things. One, yep, tomorrow night, like you said, Homestead. We'll see who comes to that championship, you know, there at Doghouse tomorrow night. So make that at 7:50 Eastern when we go live here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Also, I want to give a big shout out to, you know, our charity race that we just had. I know we talked about it a lot, but everybody that goes back and does watch this, make sure you join our Discord. We got to see Sam shave his beard like we promised. He did it. There's a video up on it. And tomorrow night, after the Doghouse race, Sam, I have a video going up on our social media Discord of me coloring my hair blue. So very interesting how it turned out. So stay tuned for that afterwards. That will be uploaded to our Discord. You'll be able to go watch that there. And maybe we'll post it on social media platform. I'll put it on Facebook and X, and we'll see where that goes from there. And even maybe TikTok, before it gets shut down on Saturday. Just joking around. Anyways, and then last but not least, like you said, February. The ISRC. Got some old faces coming in. We got some new dogs. Good. Maybe have a new champion too. So, this season 8 with the ISRC on Monday night is going to be very interesting to watch and see how that all pans out. So make sure that you get ready and you subscribe and you, to our YouTube channel and like it. So when we go live here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, you don't miss any of the action. But that's all I got to say, Sam. Let's sign it off, and we'll see everybody tomorrow night.
I want to say thank you to everyone that joined with us here this evening. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Robert Moyer Jr., and everyone else that helps out here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's been a pleasure to give you the call of the WSSR Cup Series on Wednesday nights. It's race 8 in the books. Your Sundance Pizza 160 victor goes to Vincent Sora. Another different winner this season, but it's the most winnish driver. Sora gets his 21st career win. That gap continues to grow, but who else can step up throughout this season? Just 4 races left in the regular season. You don't want to miss next week. Darlington, it could be a make or break race for some if they want to make that playoff push. But for us here tonight, thank you so much for joining with us. We will see you next week for Darlington. But if you can't wait until then, we've got you coverage tomorrow night. Who will be the champion of the 2024 Season 2 Doghouse Cup Series action? You'll have to find out. Is it Bowie? Is it Six? We'll see it tomorrow night at Homestead for our next Freaky Fast broadcast.